The story begins with Nick, who finds himself in an old building and realizes he's been unconscious for a while. The previous night he had been partying and drinking with friends. As he walks around the building, he sees blood everywhere. As he ventures further, he discovers his friend's lifeless body brutally murdered. Panicked, Nick calls out for his friend, but is horrified to find his female friend has transformed into a monstrous, bloodthirsty creature attacking a man. She looks horrifying, and Nick, terrified, realizes she's now a danger to him. She moves towards him, and in fear, Nick runs away. Nick eventually reaches the main road, only to be hit by an oncoming car and knocked unconscious. When he wakes up, he finds himself in a hospital, being questioned by the police about why he ran into traffic. He's too scared to speak up, afraid he might be blamed for the deaths of his friends. By this time, Nick's family, his mother, sister and father Travis, has arrived at the hospital. Travis is Nick's stepfather, as his biological father had left him for another woman. After everyone leaves, Nick confides in Travis about what he saw in the old building. Travis, skeptical, decides to investigate and goes to the building. He enters through the back, but, everything seems normal. He finds a terrified man who claims he isn't infected by any disease or virus. Moving forward, Travis notices a lot of blood on the floor and slips. However, he still doesn't find Nick's friend, the one Nick claimed had turned into a savage, bloodthirsty creature. Returning home, Travis tells his wife about the strange happenings at the building, but she dismisses it as a result of people using drugs in that area. She believes Nick's altered state of mind could have caused him to hallucinate. Meanwhile, at the hospital, Nick starts noticing patients behaving strangely, almost like they've lost their minds. Taking advantage of the situation, Nick escapes and goes to his drug dealer, whom he believes may have something to do with his friend's transformation into a violent monster. Nick confronts the dealer, asking if the drugs he gave him had caused his friend to become brutal and violent. The dealer insists it was a regular drug and that there's nothing in it that could have caused such a reaction. However, Nick soon realizes that the dealer is planning to kill him to cover his tracks. In self-defense, Nick kills the dealer in a fight and panics, calling his parents for help. At the same time, disturbing videos of people behaving like animals, attacking and eating others, start to go viral. These videos show people infected by a mysterious virus, which turns them into mindless, violent creatures. Nick's parents are still skeptical, thinking these videos are a joke, but when they go to Nick's house, they find that the dealer's body has disappeared. This alarms them, and as they leave the house, they encounter the dealer, who has now become a zombie. Travis and his wife try to talk to him, but the dealer attacks them, attempting to bite and eat them. They manage to fight him off and escape in their car, but the dealer, despite being severely injured, keeps getting up, showing no signs of stopping. Nick finally runs him over with the car, and as the three of them look on in shock, they realize that no matter how much damage he sustained, the dealer keeps rising, just like in the videos. They quickly rush back home and call Nick's sister, asking her to leave the city with them. However, their daughter refuses to leave because her friend is very ill. When they arrive at their daughter's location, they find her friend is much sicker than before. Upon checking, Travis discovers that the friend has been bitten by someone, meaning that soon he too will turn into a zombie. The realization sinks in for the family. The viral outbreak is real, and the city is now overrun with zombies. They must now figure out how to escape before it's too late. As the infection spreads rapidly across the city, Travis, fearing for his family's safety, decides to leave with his daughter. The chaos intensifies, with people gathering supplies and trying to escape. Travis cleans the blood from his car, then informs his wife that he's going to get his ex-wife and son. If he doesn't return in time, she should take the children and leave the city. Meanwhile, the zombie virus spreads faster than anyone expected, and the streets become overcrowded as more people fall victim to the infection. Travis gets stuck in traffic, but he manages to find a shortcut. Along the way, he notices police officers gathering supplies, suggesting they know something the public doesn't. As he drives on, he witnesses protests against the police, who have been killing infected people, leading to further chaos. Among the protesters is Travis's second son, recording the events, unaware of how quickly things are escalating. Travis eventually finds his son and decides to take him with him. Just as they are about to leave, an infected woman approaches. The crowd turns violent, attacking the police and causing even more chaos. Amid the turmoil, Travis finds his ex-wife and they make plans to escape. They approach Daniel, a shop owner, asking for help. At his wife's insistence, Daniel lets them take refuge in the shop. Night falls, and the situation outside deteriorates. Daniel's family watches nervously, realizing the fire outside is spreading toward them. They make the decision to leave, but as Daniel opens the shop door, a crowd rushes in, some of them now zombies. The chaos in the streets escalates, with looters and infected people attacking one another. Travis, with his family, escapes in his car, followed by Daniel and his family. As they drive through the city, they witness the total destruction, with police shooting at infected individuals and the number of zombies growing. Meanwhile, Nick, with his mother and sister, is waiting at an airbase. They hear a knock on their door and find a dog covered in blood. When Nick investigates, he realizes the blood isn't the dog's. They look outside and see their neighbor has turned into a zombie, and it's heading toward their house. Knowing they need weapons to defend themselves, Nick finds a gun in a neighboring house. But as they try to escape, the zombie dog attacks, and Travis arrives just in time to witness the chaos. Nick, his mother and sister come to the rescue, but Travis hesitates to kill the zombie. That's when Daniel steps in and eliminates the threat. Daniel realizes that Travis's family is too soft-hearted to survive in this world of zombies. The next morning, Travis's wife sees that their neighbor has turned into a zombie as well. She decides to kill the neighbor to prevent further harm, but Travis stops her, saying they have no right to take anyone's life. The army, now in control, informs the survivors that they've taken over the area and that no one is allowed to leave. They'll search every house to ensure no infected individuals remain. Daniel still wants to leave the area despite the increasing control of the army. Soon, thousands of soldiers arrive, and the army chief makes an announcement. They have secured an area of 6 kilometers, and no one is allowed to leave this safe zone. The area beyond this 6 kilometers is too dangerous, filled with zombies. Days pass, and one day Travis's second son is filming a video on the roof, showing how the city outside the safe zone is completely destroyed. He notices that someone is signaling for help by turning their lights on and off, indicating that people are trapped outside, ignored by the army. She decides to go outside the safe zone to see what's really happening. One night, she sneaks out and discovers the devastation outside. She finds bodies scattered everywhere, many of them shot by the army, not bitten by zombies. These people were healthy before being killed, indicating the army was eliminating them. As she observes the carnage, army vehicles arrive, forcing her to hide under a car to avoid being seen. Daniel expresses concern for his wife, who is injured after a board fell on her foot. The army plans to take her to the hospital, but Daniel worries they might mistake her for being infected and kill her. When the army arrives to take Daniel's wife, they refuse to let him accompany her. Meanwhile, Nick is also listed by the army for a medical checkup due to a slight fever. His sister urges him to run, but the soldiers catch him. The army then takes both Daniel's wife and Nick, forcing them into the vehicle. Travis's ex-wife, who is a nurse, argues with the army doctor, insisting that Nick only has a fever. But the army doctor replies that they can't take any risks, and Nick will also need to be tested. She then insists that since she is a nurse, she should also accompany them to keep an eye on Nick and Daniel's wife. Meanwhile, Travis's ex-wife begins to suspect that Nick's mother hasn't revealed everything about her son to the army. This leads to an argument between her and Travis, especially because she had witnessed outside the safe zone how the army was shooting even uninfected people. She fears that Nick might be harmed too, which causes her to break down in tears. On the rooftop, Travis observes something strange. The people outside the safe zone seem to have fallen silent, and he hears sounds from that direction, which makes him realize that the soldiers might have killed them all. He now understands that the army cannot be trusted. On the other hand, Daniel takes a drastic step to save his wife and shows Travis's wife what he has done. He has captured an army soldier and is torturing him to extract information about what they plan to do with his wife and Nick. The soldier initially claims that they are only trying to help and will release them afterward. However, Daniel knows he is lying and intensifies the torture. Finally, the soldier confesses that the army is indeed up to no good. He reveals that they have gathered Nick, my wife, and over 2,000 other people in a stadium because they can't determine who is infected and who is not. To avoid any risks, the army plans to kill all of them the next morning and then leave the area, as they are unable to contain the increasing number of zombies outside. Our suspicions were correct. We need to rescue Nick and my wife before morning, but the stadium is already surrounded by thousands of zombies that the army can no longer control. Using the chaos caused by the zombie attack, we can infiltrate the underground parking area of the stadium to free Nick and my wife. Travis has released the soldier we captured. He argues that we now have the information we need and there's no reason to kill him. This infuriates me. I believe Travis's mercy might get us killed, especially since we are already short on time. Frustrated, I leave Travis's son and daughter behind and head toward the captive group. Meanwhile, I've been held in a cell. I befriend a wealthy businessman who promises to take me and my family to a safe place if I help him escape. Trust me, kid. Help me get out of here, and I'll make sure you and your family are safe. We just need to work together. However, outside, the zombies break through the fences and start entering the stadium. The army soldiers abandon the doctors and nurses, including Travis's ex-wife, and flee in helicopters, leaving everyone else behind. The businessman manages to escape with Nick, but when other prisoners ask for help, the businessman refuses, saying they need to think of their own survival first. Minutes later, Travis's wife and others reach the cells in search of Nick. They learn from the remaining prisoners that Nick has already left with the businessman. Before leaving, I need to free the other prisoners. They deserve a chance to survive too. Elsewhere, the businessman and Nick find themselves trapped in a hall locked by a security door. Zombies are closing in, and the businessman has only a few bullets left in his gun, making escape seem nearly impossible. "Travis, please help us! We're trapped in here!" Travis and his wife see Nick outside the door, but they can't open it without a security card. Just as the zombies are about to reach Nick and the businessman, Travis's ex-wife arrives with her doctor's security card and opens the door. "Where is my wife? Tell me. I'm sorry, Daniel. She was truly infected. The army already killed her. Daniel is heartbroken but knows he has to protect his daughter. He takes her to the underground parking lot where their vehicles are located." However, the soldier who Travis had released and Daniel had tortured earlier returns. "Daniel, watch out! No, not my daughter!" The soldier, seeking revenge on Daniel for the torture, aims to hurt him by shooting his daughter instead. Travis quickly attacks the soldier, realizing he made a mistake by letting him go earlier. In the struggle, the bullet grazes Daniel's daughter's shoulder, but thankfully, she survives. Everyone gathers and decides to leave with the businessman. As they drive through the ruins of their devastated city, they finally arrive at the businessman's luxurious home. At the mansion, the group discovers that the businessman has a private yacht stocked with supplies. He plans to take them to a large ship in the ocean, a safe haven where zombies cannot reach them. This gives everyone hope of finally being safe. As they prepare to leave, Travis's ex-wife tends to Daniel's daughter's injury and then embraces her own son, saying a final goodbye. She has been hiding a terrible secret. She was bitten by a zombie. Later, she pulls Travis's wife aside, away from the others, and shows her the bite wound. She explains that she will soon turn into a zombie and become a danger to everyone. She hands a gun to Travis's wife and begs her to shoot and kill her before that happens. Travis's ex-wife doesn't want her son to witness her transformation or death. Travis's wife, heartbroken but understanding the gravity of the situation, reluctantly agrees. Travis says his final goodbye to his ex-wife, filled with sorrow. Moments later, as the group prepares to leave, they hear a gunshot. Travis's ex-wife sacrifices herself to protect the group. The remaining survivors board the businessman's yacht and set sail for the open ocean. With plenty of food, water, and other necessities provided by the businessman, they are hopeful for a better life. Away from the chaos of zombies, they finally find a sense of peace and safety, and with that, the story concludes.